In the early years of the 20th century, 60% of the American population was rural, and households in initial towns in the city had fewer than 10,000 people. Up until that time, life on the farm was lonely, and farm families felt that they weren't keeping up with the urban population, which had electric lights, telephones, and access to the latest goods. The first to the farmers were isolated, often with limited funds, and few could afford the time or the expense of shopping in the city. But all of this changed with the introduction of the mail order catalog. In 1872, a Chicago merchant named Montgomery Ward began sending copies of a catalog to thousands of farmers in the Midwest. The catalog was 280 pages long and offered farm farmers the opportunity to order any good listed in it by mail. This is how Montgomery Ward and Company became the nation's first mail order company. Ward had discovered something entirely new and profitable, a new method of conducting business. After that, the term mail order house and mail order catalog were added to our vocabulary. The most successful mail order house was Sears and Roebuck, which entered the mail order business in 1895. Just as American World had done with this catalog, Richard Sears advertised his products in catalogs that were sent to farm families. The Sears catalog sold food, clothing, machinery, tools, stoves, anything and everything a farm family might need. The value of the business very rapidly rose because of improvements in postal services. The post office established rural-free delivery in 1902 and a postal post in 1913. The new service meant that cattle and goods would be delivered directly to the farm, so farmers didn't have to drive several miles into town to pick up packages. These new services greatly contributed to the success of mail order houses. Rural free delivery also had a great benefit from farm families. Families that had previously been isolated could now receive newspapers, magazines, and mail order catalogs in their mailboxes. This catalog also broke the isolation and changed the outlook of rural America. Thanks to the mail order houses of Montgomery Ward and Sears and Roebuck, no farm was too isolated to be aware of the latest clothing, furniture, farm equipment, music, and literature. The wide distribution of the Sears catalog had another interesting effect. The Sears catalog had a lot to do with the similarity of goods available nationwide. Of course, this was also due to the mass production of goods. The mass production technique made it possible to create original copies of, for example, high-priced clothing. The two factors working together, mass production and nationwide distribution, tended to minimize regional differences in clothing style. This is why there is a lack of class and regional distinction in American clothing. People believe that if clothing of the same brand was widely worn by many people, then this was a sign of its value. By 1910, both men and women could buy every article of clothing ready-made from mail-order catalogs like Sears. Sears didn't pretend to be a leader in fashion, but it did provide whatever the American wanted. Women wanted to dress more fashionably, and they welcomed new styles. For some women, the pictures of the smiling women on the pages of the Sears catalog were as close as they came to outside the context during the long winter months. And for immigrants who wanted to become Americans, the Sears catalog was a textbook. Here they learned how to dress, how to furnish their homes, and some catalogs even had recipes and menus for holiday dinners and how to cook American food.